He was just a French puppet that they could never trust. Not only this, but the French public back home was growing more and more upset with their nation's involvement so far off in Mexico, which was costing France more than it seemed to be worth. The US was also becoming braver now that the Civil War had come to a close, and despite the Secretary of State maintaining the nation's stance of disapproval without action, two generals, Philip Henry Sheridan and Ulysses S. Grant, decided to take matters into their own hands. They began to offer secret aid to the liberal troops in Mexico, mainly along the Texas border. With all of this in his favor, Juarez began to lead his men back into direct conflict with the French and their local supporters. Finally, Napoleon realized that his time was up here, and his goals had been achievable but short-lived. On January 31st, 1866, all French troops were ordered to withdraw from Mexico in a three-stage approach over the next year. Whether Austria had ever intended to send troops in place of the French to maintain their Archduke's Mexican crown is not known for certain, but caution from the United States to refrain from such actions was heeded nonetheless. With the liberal troops closing in, the US at their backs, and France on their way out the door, Maximilian was advised to leave Mexico and return to safety in Austria. Either for pride or naive optimism, Maximilian chose to remain in his crumbling empire and sealed his own fate. After being betrayed by one of his trusted colonels, who opens the gate in La Cruz to grant the offensive liberal forces entry, Maximilian was taken into custody, and after a symbolic trial, the first and only emperor was sentenced to death. On June 19, 1867, the monarch and his loyal generals were prepared for execution by firing squad. Maximilian, content with the decision he had made and the consequences he would now suffer, handed each member of the firing squad a Maximilian door before pointing to his heart and inviting them to aim well and aim right here. His final words were recorded as follows: Mexicans, persons of my rank and origin, are destined by God either to be benefactors of the people or martyrs. Called by a great part of you, I came for the good of the country. Ambition did not bring me here. I came with the best of intentions and sincerest wishes for the future of my adopted country and for that of my soldiers, whom I thank before my death for the sacrifices which they have made for me. Mexicans, may my blood be the last which shall be spilled for the welfare of this country, and if it should be necessary that its sons should still shed tears, may it flow for its good, never by treason. Long live independence. Long live Mexico. With those final words of hope, the unlucky Austrian and his men were put to death. Maximilian would soon be laid to rest in his home country of Austria, and with this, the French invasion of Mexico had finally come to an end. Though unusual, and in the eyes of many unjustified, this brief intervention and establishment of the Mexican Empire as a French puppet state was nevertheless a fascinating and important time in history. And of all the battles and wars fought throughout time, this may be one of the most intriguing.